Welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Tuesday, April 11th, just after 2 p.m. here in Northern California. We are going to simply take a look at 3 Bitcoin charts to kind of get a feel for where the market is going this week, where I'm anticipating the market is going this week. I want to show you something that I think is going to be very helpful in terms of understanding the overall cycle of what's happening here on this Bitcoin chart. So this is a weekly Bitcoin chart. What I'd like us to pay close attention to is the top outs in the RSI. So basically when the RSI tops out, this is a major top. This is a major top. And so the question is, from the time the RSI tops out to the top of the market, or we could even say to the next top in the RSI, how far is that in the distance? So basically, from one peak to the next peak in the RSI is 1,120 days. 365 divided 1,120, or, sorry, should I do 1,120 divided by 365? So a little over 3 years, all right? From this top in the RSI to the next top in the RSI, if we repeat that cycle from this top in the RSI to 1,120 days, that would put the next top in the RSI in January of 2024. So this top was here, December 2017. From December 2017, we had this top here, January 2021, and that would put us at the next topping out of the RSI at January 29, 2024. Are we on schedule to hit that? I would argue no. This cycle is going to take a little bit longer to get there. And let me tell you why. Because we made another top here, kind of an intermediate top in the RSI, and it took 567 days to get there. Okay? Now, when we start from this top here, and we go out 567 days, we're already well past that. We're already 819 days, and you see that the RSI is coming into the overbought territory on the weekly chart, which it did here. So basically, what I'm saying is, you see this process here where the RSI bottoms out, makes its way up, comes all the way down to the bottom, and then peaks out. It looks like we're repeating that same process. The RSI came all the way to the bottom. It's made its way up. It's about to hit the overbought territory, but there's not enough momentum here looking at this RSI on the weekly chart. There's not enough momentum to take us all the way to the top of this bull run. I mean, even if we topped out way up here, we're not going to be anywhere near the top of this bull run. We're not going to be at, $120, $130, $150,000 or whatever we're expecting to hit at the top of this bull run. So what I think has to happen is, just as the RSI came down, the RSI has to come up, make its way back down, and then top out again. Now, where is this going to be? I don't know. Now, there's another way of looking at this. Second way of looking at it is if we move this to the top of the market in the price and measure from the top of the RSI to the top of the price, that was 1,428 days. Now, if we were to measure that, then we would go from the top of the RSI here to the top of the price. And if we go out 1,428 days, let's see what that does. 1,400 128 days. This puts us out December of 24. That is probably more likely. Here, this gap is simply the gap between the top of the RSI and the top of the price. In this cycle, what we're seeing back in 2017 is the top of the RSI and the top of the price coincided. However, there was bearish divergence because the RSI just kept topping out. But this was the final top of the RSI. This was the final top of the RSI. Now, with that being said, if this is the case, then we still have to get to the end of this. Oh, that's interesting. It's still 1,120 days. It's 1,000. Oh, look at that. Okay, I did not anticipate that. From the top of the price to the top of the RSI is 1,120 days. But there was still a gap between the top of the RSI to the top of the price of 308 days. All right. So what if the RSI still tops out in 1,120 days? What if this one is the top of the RSI and this one's the top of the price? I think we'll be even later than that. Honestly, I think we'll be even later than that. We just have to watch it. But I think the main thing that I wanted you to see here is that when we're taking a look at this process of the RSI on the weekly chart, bottoming out, topping out, retesting the bottom again, and then going on the major run. So what I'm saying is what we're looking at in this cycle is we're still here at this point here, right? Somewhere in here, right? We had that first initial bottom, and now we're moving up towards the top. The only difference is, look, we're already hitting the top. So right around here, where the RSI is hitting the top, in other words, if we're still following this pattern, there's not much more to go before we actually have to come back down in the RSI and retest the bottom and then try to break out again. Okay, so maybe this is the top of the RSI. I don't know. We will see. But this is not this. I'm pretty confident of that. I mean, of course, I could be wrong. But in my opinion, what we're looking at right here is not this. It's more like this. Now, for more data on that, basically to confirm that further, if we take a look at the 3-day chart, there's a couple things we can see. One, we're breaking above the downtrend in the RSI, which invalidates the bearish divergence. True. But we're back into the overbought territory. Now, it could still pump higher, absolutely. But this is why I had this tentative target of 33,420 up here, knowing this could continue to move higher before it comes back down to retest somewhere around 24,000. Not to mention, we've got the 200 moving average here, which basically is equivalent to the 600 moving average. And so I think if we follow the course, the 200 moving average, it's going to do something like this, which potentially could see us topping out right at around 32,000 before we come down and retest 24,000. But this is not a move that can be substantiated long term. The RSI is just too high into the overbought territory to see a long-term move. We're seeing the same thing on the daily chart, where we had all of this bearish divergence, which now, in a sense, is invalidated because we've broken above the line of resistance, but it's not completely invalidated because we're still making a higher high in the price and a lower high in the RSI. So that is still bearish divergence, even though we're breaking above the trend. So tomorrow we got the CPI report. It's going to be interesting to see how that affects the market. But overall, things seem to be on track to me. I just feel like we're going to see, however long this takes, we're going to see this move, I think, back down to the 24,000 mark before the market determines what it'll do next. And once we start moving towards that target of 24,000, I'm going to be watching the RSI, because how quickly the RSI moves downward and recovers will determine whether or not we need to break through this and move further down, or if we're going to bounce there and move up. All right, folks, that's all I got for you today. I know this is a quick update, but that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Do me a favor, and remember that I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is financial advice. These are just my opinions and my perspectives. But if you appreciated the content, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. Leave me a comment to let me know what you think. Check out my Patreon at patreon.com/cryptogenic. But above all, make it your aim to sleep in peace, wake in joy, walk in love. This is Cryptogenic, signing out.